Hi, my name's Ben Buddy Slack, and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project. The Swan Song Project is a charity that helps people facing the end of their lives to write and record their own original songs. I've started doing a series of interviews with songwriters, asking them to give us a bit of an insight into their music, how they write their songs, share some tips that might be useful to new songwriters, and also tell us a little bit about how music has helped them deal with a bereavement or loss in the past. This episode features Samh Hodgson of the band Samh, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, today I'm here with Samh Hodgson from the band Samh. Hello, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you.
So, if you watched these before, there's 3 sections. First, Sam's going to play a song for us. Then we're going to have a little chat about how he wrote that. Then we're going to have section 2. Sam's going to give us a songwriting tip, which might be helpful for new songwriters. And then section 3, Sam's going to tell us about a song that means something to him relating to end of life, bereavement, and grief and those issues. So, I'm going to pass you over to Sam, who can play his song. And so you want to tell us what it is, Sam, and get straight into it. I'm going to put you on the big screen.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Yeah, this song is called We Are Not Physical. I guess I'll talk a bit about what it means and where it came from after I've played it. There's no checking out the stars. But it was beautiful.
Thanks, Sam. I like the one person applause. It's going to be a thing on these interviews. But yeah, that was great. Thank you. What can you tell us about writing that?
So that song is part of an EP that I wrote that I finished recording last year, and the whole EP is kind of like about these hazy, summery, small things that happen in your life, which seem tiny but also massive at the same time, and sometimes it takes a while to get hold of how big they are because they seem so small. And some of the songs on the EP were written like really quickly. Like I just sat down and they just popped out, and I have no idea where they came from, and it was a complete mystery. But that song was a labour of love over a long, long period of time.
Yeah.
It took me like ages, weeks and weeks to kind of work out what it was about and where it was going and what direction it needed to take, and all of these things. And it went through loads of names and loads of orders and lyrics. I've just got like a whole notebook full of ideas for that song, and loads of recordings where I just like scrapped whole massive chunks of them. I like a whole chorus just disappeared out of it, and all this sort of stuff. So it was one of those that took a long time.
What was the starting point for it then? Did it change? Like, did you have like, this song is about this, and then it's shifted over the course of writing it, or was there always like an aim with it?
No, there was never an aim, and it did shift. So it started off about something completely different. It started off about like chaos and order. So I was thinking about those themes, and originally it was called Out of Order, and I had this thing where it's like, because at the time it was like, you know, Brexit was happening and all that sort of stuff, and there was all this chaos going on in the social and political landscape. So it was originally about that, but then it took so many twists and turns that it just ended up being about something completely different.
And where did the title come from? We Are Not Physical.
Yeah, so I guess the title came from this kind of like wandering, pondering like thing where you just sort of start thinking about little ideas and they just become these massive twists and turns in your brain. So I was thinking like about, you know, this idea that we are just consciousness and we've taken on this body for a moment and then we'll return to it, which is not an idea that I particularly believe in or anything like that, but it's a really, really nice thing to consider.
Yeah. Is that a common way you write songs, where you let it kind of just form and take shape? And do you often spend a long time revising things, or does it vary a lot?
Yeah, I guess it varies quite a lot, but I think I read a Paul Simon interview the other day, and he was saying that songs, you don't need to write the songs, you just need to let them come to you. And I like that idea. So that it's kind of made up of those two things. One of them is trying to enter your subconscious and delving into the dark things that are inside yourself, not necessarily dark, but the deep things. And then the next bit is like editing and working out what works and what doesn't, and what you like and what you don't, and what bits fit with what songs, etc.
Yeah, it's really. I read an interview with Paul Simon one time where he was talking about. I remember he was talking about throwing a tennis ball at a wall and catching it for ages, and he was talking about how when you sit down to try and write a song, your brain will throw up cliches and kind of things that you know, like just boring stuff. And he says the real thrill of it was to try and get past that stage to then what I think is kind of what you were talking about there, where like you're just letting things more interesting things come out rather than cliches and stuff that you kind of, I don't know, stuff that you know in a way, like things you say regularly, but trying to get that part out of the way so then something more deep and meaningful and interesting kind of comes out. But I think he was using the tennis ball thing of the way of distracting his mind to let ideas bubble up or something.
Yeah, definitely. And we all have our own ways of doing that. Like, I guess it's creating like flow state or like something like that where, I don't know, you go for a run or you lift some weights or anything like that. And your mind is able to leave all that stuff behind and enter a new thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Cool, yeah, thanks for that, Sam. So we'll move into section 2. So this is where I've asked people to have a songwriting tip for anyone who might be interested in starting writing songs, might be early on their journey. So have you got a tip for us, Sam?
Yeah, my tip is to consider your environment. So I've been, as I told you just before this interview, I've been doing a master's on songwriting and how people write music about where they're from and their place. And I think it's really an important thing to consider where you are in physical geography. And it can really help you as a person as well as a songwriter. And considering that, because you are influenced by everything that's going on around you. So I'll give you some solid tips. So there's something that Björk does, for example, which I really, really like, which is she takes the environment and refers it to her body. So she'll take things about her body that are the same about those things that are about her environment and combine them together. And I really like that idea. So take something like I'm living in Huddersfield, so there's quite a lot of moorland around Huddersfield and Marsden and Slough and that. So I like the idea that like the moors are quite like rough and not like ideal, not idealistic, not perfect or anything, but they're kind of harsh and in a way a little bit ugly, but in an extremely beautiful way. So I've been thinking about that in terms of my body and like, there's bits of my body that are not perfect. None of it is. That are ugly, but in a beautiful way. So I've been considering that. So I think that's my tip. Find a bit about something that you like about the landscape or something that is about the landscape that you live in and relate it to your body as a lyrical theme.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks, Sam. That's a really good one. Yeah, I think place can be overlooked in songs a lot of the time. I'm hearing a Tom Waits thing where he thinks that all songs have to be, set in a certain place, and he tries to include some reference to a street or a city or something in most of his songs. And I'm thinking about something like that before, and I think for me it was kind of like thinking, well, like people know my area because my friends know my area, but then the people who listen to your song aren't necessarily going to be the people who live in the same area. Mm-hmm. And like, so there's lots of songs that it's like this title's just a street name or something like that, and like because you hold the like my associations with a street here don't seem particularly exciting, but someone else who doesn't actually know that street, if you've got an interesting name for it or a park or something like that or some moorland, and then you can describe all sorts of stuff based on that area. So yeah, I think that's a really good one.
Yeah, and that's where like identity in music comes from as well. Like the Beatles are massively famous for that, like Abbey Road, all these things that they include about like small little things about Britishness, which to most English people just don't seem like anything because that's just the way it is, but to other people it seems like exotic and wonderful.
Yeah. And it's probably quite a common error, thing what a lot of new people will do. They'll try and sound like someone from a different place, won't they? New singers, new songwriters, I'll try and write like Bob Dylan or something like that. And it's that, like, I mean, you take an influence from great songwriters, but you're making it authentic to you as well, like what you know about, and that's what makes it more special in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So thanks for that, Sam. Section 3. So I asked people to choose a song that means something to them about end of life and bereavement. And the way I'm doing it on the video, because I don't think I can actually play the songs on the video, so I invite people to pause the video and then go and watch it, and I'll put the link in the description. So the song you chose is Nothing Not Nearly by Laura Marling, Sam.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll put the link in the description now. So if anybody's watching this and you've not heard the song, you can pause this video and follow that link and have a listen to that song, and then come back and Sam's going to tell us about it. So we can carry on now, Sam. Hoping people have gone and listened to the song. I listened to it early on today, and I was blown away by it. It's beautiful.
It is an incredibly beautiful song. I guess it's probably not about grief or bereavement, or I don't know. It's hard to say exactly what she was talking about, but a lot of people, I think that it's about a relationship, or I don't know, like a breakup or something, which I guess is grief in a way. But the way that I heard it for the first time and still hear it is that it's about like losing somebody that you love. And it always reminds me of my nana who died a long time ago. Well, when I was quite young, but I always think about her, and she's constantly in my mind. Her love and the way that she acted and all the kindness that she shared with us. So when I hear that song, I always think of her, and I even wrote my own second verse for it, because it goes verse 1 chorus, verse 1 chorus. So after I got over my tears and grief, and after I got over not being able to listen to it without feeling really sad and emotional, I wrote my own verse for verse 1 about my nana, and that was a very healing and therapeutic process. And then that started a whole thing about not being able to get through it without crying again. So I had to practice that a few times.
Have you got that recorded anywhere?
Yeah, it's on my Facebook. There's a video of me playing it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll have a look at that. Yeah, that's another good songwriting tip in itself, isn't it? Is to write sections to songs that are already meaningful to you.
Yeah, it's not something that I do a lot, but it is a really, really interesting and fun thing to do.
Yeah, and particularly with things like that, where not knowing exactly what she intended the song about, but this is the meaning, it's the associations for you, and then writing a section which is more specific to that. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's really interesting. Like the structure's quite, because the second verse is shorter than the first one as well. It's the first half of the first verse again, isn't it? But yeah, it's a very interesting arrangement as well. There's that line in the first verse, I can't remember exactly now, but it's about not being afraid of trees or bears, or anything that might hurt you, something like that, wasn't it? Which I thought was just was
it's one of those lines where, like, I don't know, it's so it stands out so much that it kind of, like, that's what you think of when you think of the song in a way. It's kind of like a trippy line, not trippy, but like it trips up. It's not, it doesn't flow as well as the rest of it, but because of that, almost because of it, it makes you like remember it and think about it a bit more, I think.
Yeah, it really stands out, doesn't it? Yeah, stunning song. Really good. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Sam. I've really enjoyed that. It's been really interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Yeah, and I'll I hope everyone enjoys it. What I've been doing is I'm starting to ask songwriters for recommendations of other songwriters who I might be able to approach for this. And so I think I'm going to post these 2 a week. I've got quite a few lined up, so I'm hoping to maybe do one Monday, one Friday. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed tuning in, and keep an eye on for the other ones and follow the other Swan Song pages. And thanks again, Sam. Hopefully see you again soon when we can leave the houses.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.